What's up, guys? The end of round 13 is here. Just want to go through a few of the bugs, a few of the issues that are happening at the moment. Both Fantasy and Supercoach are having their own issues currently. In the app, it'll say your correct score right now, but the rank is wrong. And also the score that's showing up in head-to-head. If you had 14 players in your squad, a couple of bench guys, it will show the 14 players. So they're trying to fix that at the moment. Funny that it's the opposites because the app shows your correct score. The desktop does not show your correct score. But it also shows the reduction of that 14th man. So it's only showing the 13 available players. So hopefully by the time this video comes out, it will be fixed. But if it is not, it does have a little message there coming up on the desktop when you log in to say that they're experiencing some issues and they're fixing that at the moment. So I know both apps had some issues, Fantasy and Supercoach. So that's that. But anyway, we have one game to go through in this one to round out and finish round 13. And we kick it off with Greg Marzu, Greg the Tank. He is incredible to watch. Incredible finisher because he just runs over people. It's amazing. Obviously has his defensive issues, but offensively, to have a guy that could just run over blokes one-on-one, and is so good out of his own end, and as a tackle breaker, he's so important to a side. So the deficiencies aside, super important. And you see that with Schuster in this one as well, especially in that first half. He was very, very dominant and got them to a lead. And then obviously as they started to struggle, the night started to come, he becomes fairly irrelevant. So Greg there with 84, he was the best scorer of the round, which was amazing for anyone looking into him. We lost some points for Horsburgh, unfortunately. Went from 85 to 80, and then Tarpany went from 77 to 75. So they're the only two that I know of at this point that have dropped down, and then Tohu Harris went up 1 point from 53 to 54. So that's all at the moment. But yeah, lockout will be lifted soon, and you'll be able to jump in and make some changes. Bradman Best was a fun one. So he's been pretty good, guys. He's almost up to 42 average, and all of the Knights guys and the Manly team have a bye next week, guys. So just be aware of that. When you're looking at potentially trading or picking any of these guys up, have that in mind. But they do play 16, which is very important, and 17 as well. But Best was great in this one. Dom Young scored 58 as well, and Cross on the big one here with a 50. So very good news for anyone who held him. He was extremely low until the last 20 or so minutes of this game. Picked up that try, got a lot of tackles in that time as well. When they were attacking, he wasn't involved in as much until he got that try. He just fell on it after a couple of ricochets. So, he got threw out the back for that try. So 45 tackles for him, worked out well, and did his job. And that happened that first time everyone was picking him up when he got that try as well. He ended up with a good score there. Sipley, someone that we were looking at for sure, and he was pretty low for the most part of this game, obviously in lower minutes, and then the 44 minutes was fine. Not exactly what you're looking for, but he had a terrific run there where he picked up a lot of meters gained, plenty of tackle breaks, and also a line break. So that made his score great. Fainu, it's a very interesting one here. I'm not sure if just playing one game on an edge, like if he was going to get named this week and play and would be on that edge, I think there's a good chance that they would have given him the edge duel, because that's where they're going to play him. He played 50 odd minutes in that game before. He wasn't named there, but and then named in this one. And then if he was to play this week, I think he'd get it. But yeah, you'd have to pick him up in the mids, which I suppose for round 16 numbers is pretty poor at the moment, apart from like Hopgood and Madison if he comes back. But yes, Fainu did a great job. 47 in this time out there. 2 offloads, 3 tackle breaks to go along with only 2 negatives there with 2 missed tackles. So if you picked him up this week at 220, you start to make some cash now, which is good and is exactly what you need. He's had 2 games prior to this, a really low one to start, and that 20 odd the week previous to this, and happy days. Olakuatu, so end up with 2 try savers and a 46. So again, just very, very poor in terms of the amount of tackle breaks and offloads. I know there's a few people that picked him up a few weeks ago, and he's got 30, 30, and 46. So he's going to continue to tumble down on his price. He was, he'd been making money, and the last few weeks have really killed his value. So round 15, it could be someone that's down around that 650 mark and becomes a little bit more value. But I do personally want to see him get back to some good scores before that happens. Saifidi there, Jacob, did solidly. Paseka with 46, so a solid gain for him. But again, he just continues to get those mid-40s. So now that you've got to round 14 bye, I think that this is a likely time that you do trade him on. If you are completely struggling for mids in 16, then he could be a hold there again. He's not losing you any money. He's kind of just plodding along. He's not a keeper. So use him for the bye period and trade him on, or you trade him on now. Okay, Ponga, this was the man that I was worried about in this game, considering I think it was 560 out of the top 1,000 brought him in, for those that didn't have him already last week. So, yeah, he's up at about that 60% or so ownership, which will, I'll check out footy statistics and see that round out after, lockouts lifted and everything like that, and it's updated after round 13. But yeah, Ponga was very, very low for a lot of this game. It was 3 and 30 odd minutes, and I was like, oh, how good. But it only takes a couple of plays, and there was one chance they got, I think it was fourth tackle, and he went tackle break, like crab run, and then got tackled a little bit, but offloaded, and I was like, oh, there's like another 8 or 10 points. He then got a forced dropout just after that, so there was like 12 points. The next one he came down and got a try assist. It was just like, it just kept piling on from there, and he showed obviously the tremendous quality that he has in him. And 3 forced dropouts in there, he kind of did it all. 170 meters, a bit of kicking as well, 133. To go along with his 4 tackle breaks, a couple of line break assists. He had an offload and obviously the try assist. So doing a bit of everything. He did get hit in the head like 3 times or close to it, like chin, shoulder. I really didn't like the sin bin from that first one at all. Like, he may have got him in the head. May have is the question there. And if Ponga actually caught the ball, it was a pretty bad pass. So if he passed it a little bit closer to him, Ponga reaches out, he grabs it, and he gets whacked, and it's normal. But I don't know. Anyway, it kind of, obviously, it didn't hurt them too much, Manly, but it did. They obviously lost the game, so it hurt them enough for it to be a bit of a big pain there for sure. Ponga, 45, solid. I kind of want him to get under 50. Anything under 50, I said a 49 would be happy for all of us, so 45, even better for me. Not as good for you, but fine. If you picked him up at 420k for 45, happy days. Kebby in there. What do you do with Ponga? He goes into a buy. You obviously just bought him, you hold, and then you work it out from there what you do with him. Kebby was 45. He had a good one for anyone who had to hold him and play him. Daniel Saifidi, 68 minutes, 43 is yuck. Ruben Garrick, 39. So picked up a try, which was good news, obviously. Thanks to Schuster, just not wanting to run the length of the field with a calf, coming back from a calf injury. Completely fair enough. 3 goals in that, a couple of offloads, 2 to hand, 1 to ground. Turnover tackle, some kick defusals, 89 meters run, not good enough. So he kind of went missing there, obviously, when the Knights had plenty of ball and were scoring tries. So until then, he was doing fine. And that slowed things down, obviously. Gagai with 39. What are you doing with Garrick there? Well, again, you bought him this week or the week before, and he's been scoring really solidly. So when Tommy and everyone comes back, it's going to be good news going in there. Okay, we do have some breaking news, though, because just before I did this video, I just found out that Latrell's obviously going to be out for Origin 1. It looks like Stephen Crichton's going to get his chance rather than Campbell Graham. He did get ruled out, Graham, so you can't really pick him, but that's frustrating, especially because he's been continuing on playing with the issue. So, frustrating for him. Welcome into Crichton. That's a massive loss for the Blues. And then the other news there, apparently, Nathan Cleary, as soon as I heard Nathan Cleary was in some doubt, I was like, oh, that means he's no chance of backing up. That's the first thing I thought of. And then it means Hines would then come in and play. So, because it's 2 days out now, I think there's a lot going on, obviously, and decisions have to be made. But apparently, he has a wisdom tooth issue. So I hope that he comes and he comes back and he's completely fine. He just plays out the game. But does that mean that can they remove that pain or whatever's causing him issues before this game? And if they can, hopefully he's completely fine and he's got the 4-day turnaround and plays the last game on Sunday, and then he would be fine for that. But I do worry now of him being named, and then him being able to back up. So we'll obviously see if he's named to play or not, and we can make a decision there. But that's frustrating considering I don't have a lot of trades. Sounds like it's not the worst issue in the world, but if Cleary's out, let's say he's out of Origin, means he won't play for Penrith, no chance. And then Hines comes in, he plays a full game, and it's like, oh well, then what? Matt Burton's been flown over to Adelaide for it, so that in itself is cause enough for concern. I think the Hines has been told that to be on standby, ready to go if he needed to play. So obviously sounds like it's not great at all. If Burton's been flown over there for that as well, they have a bye, they had a bye, which is helpful as well. They didn't have to worry about that with Burton. He hasn't played recently or anything like that, so it's good. But not good for Cleary. Obviously, if Hines then plays a full game. If Cleary's out, we'll probably miss. There's a good chance we miss out on Cleary and Hines. There's more chance for injuries. It just sounds yuck overall. So I don't want any part of it. Let's be honest. Hastings, if you went for him, obviously didn't work out great, 38, but he's been around that 40, 43, 45 kind of scorer. which not too exciting if that's what you're looking at. Him anyway. Schuster there with 32, so I saw a few people bring in him. He's just going to hang around this 450 to 400 to 500k mark, I think, pretty comfortably. So not someone you want to look at. Adam Elliott 27, so he's going to go down a big chunk of cash again. Unfortunately, had a decent score last week, but 64 minutes in this one didn't really help the team, I don't think, in his time out there. And a few Knights supporters that are close to there, they just mentioned they just don't feel like he really helped the team at all this week, whereas last week was much better. So it'd be good for him to get another week off just to work through things, just to get things right in his body and then his game, and work out their combinations with him at 13, and he can come back with a much better run of it. And then KO Weeks there with 21, so again, just not really showing much value to the team at fullback, to be honest with you. He seemed like he was in that trial game, he was absolutely killing it, and then since then, nothing special at all, so that is frustrating in itself. For those that did hold him for this score, he got a 21, which obviously didn't help you too much, and he's not really going to go up in cash at all. Good chance he plays round 16, obviously, when he's going to be in that squad again. So do you just hold him until that and then trade him out, or does he just sit there in your squad? Considering he's a red dot heading into a tough round 14, there's a lot of things to think about there. And then Kohler, if anyone who brought in him, wow, that's tough. That's very tough. Him for 3. Cooper Johns for 2, missed tackles galore for those guys, 6 tackles for Kohler, 5 for Johns, and then a sin bin for Kohler as well. And he did have a try saver in that, and he's got a try saver and 14 tackles and still gets 3. So that says something. That's enough, guys, for the Sunday wrap. I hope that really helped you guys in your potential decisions for 14. I think these team lists are going to be big, and obviously we've got Origin on Wednesday as well, so I will preview that in one of my next few videos, and I'm excited to go through that, and hopefully there's no more chaos for the Blues, and a little bit more chaos for the Queensland. No, I hope they're fine. I don't want to wish any injuries upon anyone, and I'm very glad Ponga got through this game as well. For those that do own him, I don't want to see him get hit in the head. There was a few times it's like, oh, do they take him off for HIA? I know, like, watching that match, it would have been very tough to watch, just with obviously the good moments are great, but there's so many scary moments as well. So I wish you luck with your final points scoring and rank changes. I hope it all works out for you, and I hope I can sneak into the top 100. Currently sitting at 106 with some extra points that's just come in for DeBellin and stuff like that. We'll find out how it all works out. Have a good one, guys.